goats.
He's very fast.
Oh no!
I need to show you a video of me doing stand-up badly because you showed one last time. And 3,
I tried to, but I was just so talented.
I know, yeah, you tried to.
Just like intangible red flag territory. Like he's not saying anything specific,
Interesting.
but like just as he's talking, you're like, do not be in a room alone with this man.
Yeah, 100%.
So we can all love each other. No.
All right, great. Okay, great. This is great. What about him is an intangible red flag? Is it a way he appears, way he talks, hand gestures?
Do you know what the word intangible means?
All right, I'm gonna go have a piss. Ashley, you're in charge.
I'm in charge. Bitches.
I went down on a juicy boozy, and
I got a fart, and this chair's gonna make it reverberate. Hey, wait! Hey!
Oh no! Everybody else,
Hey!
What's going on? I'm just waiting for music. I thought you were getting music. Oh, I thought you were just getting music.
How my penis gets born.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Here's a shed.
The ice cream cones came with a little metal packet that is just full of sugar. It's just full of sugar to be poured into the cones.
I got what has the Japanese not gotten a hold of, perfected, and then when everyone was like, "You did it," they went, "And now we'll begin." And you're like, "No, you fixed it. It was fixed. Do not break it." They're like, "No, we got to break this.
I still have some more questions.
Go ahead.
John Hastings is on America's Got Talent for 5 minutes, and now he's got houses in LA and London.
That's right.
Yeah.
You kept a house in London?
Yeah, I've kept a house in London.
Update: not sugar.
There's no fluid tasting enough to warrant sucking it out of him. Yeah. No, but it was did he do it when he was then in the band when they were the 4 Bee Gees that brief time before then his heart exploded?
Wow.
I'm not saying anything that didn't happen. That is what happened to him.
I'm a predator.
And it was going awesome. And we even started having drinks at a bar, and we each had girlfriends with us, whatever. We're having a great time until I got comfortable enough to go, hey, we share a birthday,
As someone who's been eternally single.
Go ahead. Is it your fault? Yes. No, sorry.
Stop tweeting after your dates, Ashley. Stop tweeting after your dates.
Oh, bad news, Paul. You're getting a Batman bait.
This is not bad news. I am so pleased.
Support them.
But you know what's more important than helping people's mental health?
Fuck you, John.
I'm just saying. Tom, you're a comedy fan.
Here's what happened. So I came up after she finished a couple times.
How did you
I'm not one's not enough.
What
you go for 2. That's how you start it out.
Smoother crunches.
And then Jesus, boom. And so so when I emerged, I went to kiss her and she just grabbed my face and she sucked it all out of my beard.
So hurtful.
That's a literary reference. Oh no, I gotta.
Hey, he can't tie me out now. I'm the only one here. Books, pages. Right. Verb, noun, adjective. Nice. Someone get me that.
I'm very prone to bullying.
No, you're talking about Andy Gibb.
I am talking about Andy Gibb. Pardon me.
Get your Gibbs straight if you want to come at me, bro.
Sorry.
Those nice bearded men and their Aryan friends seem like they're doing very different shows.
Mariolene's got pink eye. She touched her in hole.
I tried to. It crawled away too quickly.
It's difficult with tea. Sometimes you try and tune it and you get Assam.
I'm officially declaring it. Jordan is the governor general of the stream.
God damn it, guys. I took Ritalin today. I can only focus on one thing at a time.
What is happening right now? Two screens. I want to have two screens.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah. Paul and I were walking through the park, and we walked past the tennis courts. A ball had gone over the fence. Paul went down, grabbed it, threw it over, and the young woman who was playing said, "Thank you, sir."
Oh,
ouch.
Right, here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna fucking take over this fucking festival, and you're not gonna fucking stop me. Why? All these fucking robots are all around the fucking city, right?
Yeah, don't knock a spit roast till you try it.
Just hang on. Can you just keep going? Make an appeal right now for us to stop this whole thing. Go ahead, Tom.
I think we should see Paul's face for this. There's going to be tears.
The Canadians are coming.
Chris, John, and Irish Ashley combine to make the ultimate team, better than any wet dream. Welcome to the Untitled Twitch stream. John's the CEO and Boomer. Ashley's the real leader. Chris brings the vibes and juices as our enjoyment increases. Welcome to the Untitled Twitch stream.
Hello.
I wasn't muted, and then I muted myself. God damn it.
God damn it. What's going on? What you munching? Toast?
It's toast.
Nice. I had a sausage roll.
I
came
have
back
a dicky tummy, and I'm hoping it will help me feel better. It kind of is, to be honest.
Dry toast?
Toast with butter.
I was always told it's dry toast and ginger ale. That's the Wasp's chicken soup.
It's got to be Irish butter.
Okay. Noted.
There's more salt in Irish butter.
Did you try to sign into the Twitch account? I got a text.
I did.
Twitch. When did you do it? Do you need it now?
Just now.
Awesome.
But
you guys, admin, yay!
Admin. No, don't worry about it. I think
There
I
you go.
actually closed the screen. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I just put it in.
Okay.
I just put it in. So it's there if you need it. It's there if you need it. Welcome.
Okay, I may as well log
to
in
the
now.
show. John, we got a report from John. If you're wondering where he is at La Lune Festival, a yearly festival of that's another one. You sent for a fresh one? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yearly festival of him getting very allegedly with his old
It
friends.
worked. It's fine. All good.
Oh, you're good? You don't need it?
Yeah. Apparently, it will take any thing.
Any numbers at all.
Any numbers at all.
King Geo's on his way right now to see John. He's following La Lune.
That's exciting.
That's so good.
I have a
like that
football ad playing in my head. Where's that coming from?
That I don't have an answer for. You got no.
Twitch homepage. Twitch homepage.
Yeah.
Weird.
I love that they call it La Lune Fest because I remember the first time that I took mushrooms, I was at.
Is that what the festival is actually called? Because I have myself convinced that John has just made up this thing.
Who knows? But from now on, it's La Lune. But actually, King Geo can tell us that. Geo, hopefully you're not driving and typing, but if you're out in the woods, you're fine. But yeah, the first time that I took mushrooms was at a big house party that a friend of mine, Mirinda, threw, and her parents were shockingly rich. We had no idea. She was just another waiter with us, just this cool lady. And then we went over to her house and we're like, your house has a lot of land? And she went, yeah, my dad sells jade. We went, damn.
Her dad sells jade.
Yeah. So we were like, okay, cool. And she's like, we're going to have a grand time. And we did. We had a fucking blast. But because she had so much land, we were just out in the woods. She has like a forest on her land. And
that is insane.
It was so funny because she literally we were all just a bunch of scumbags in our early 20s. And she was dead on point. You would never have guessed. And then she's like, yeah, this is where my parents live. Right now she lives out in the woods. She's not, I don't know if she's fighting her familial wealth or what, but she doesn't seem like she's taking advantage of it. But
that's so cool.
She's crushing it.
It's nice if people are rich and not dicks about it.
Literally had no idea. I met two of these people. One of them came up to me years before and she was like, don't tell anyone. My family has a house in Tuscany and about 6 of us are going to go. You want to come? I was like, yes, I want to come to your family Tuscan home.
Oh, but that's really cool. That's like a don't tell people I'm rich, but come take advantage of the fact that I'm rich with me. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
That's so cool.
They do it the right way. So we had
I've
a
not met
blast.
any rich people I didn't kind of hate for it.
These people wore it perfectly. They were exactly
Did
right.
their parents earn their money or were they born into it? I feel like that might be a crucial.
I never asked. Didn't seem like it was my business.
No, that's completely appropriate.
Yeah.
But you never know. You might have just known.
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea. But they got it, and I used it, and it was great.
I had the opposite kind of thing where, people when I was growing up, people assumed that we had a lot of money.
Okay.
And we didn't.
Yeah.
My parents, well, my dad came from kind of middle class, lower middle class. You know, he definitely wasn't working class, but my mother was, you know, lowest of the low poverty. And so everything they had, they earned themselves. And my dad became quite a high earner, but he, you know, was one of the people that kind of got sort of had the rug taken under them by the recession.
Yeah.
So there was like a little bit of time where he had enough money to build the nice house that we have, but they're now losing that house. So
yeah.
You know, it's that thing. But because of this house, people always thought we were a lot better off than we actually were, which is a weird thing to have.
Well, no, my family was the same. When I was born, we lived in a trailer. And then because we would go sailing every summer, people would be like, oh, and they never said it, but every now I remember like one of my friends eventually was like, so has your family always been rich? And I was like, we aren't rich now. Like mom fights about money a lot. That's not it. They never bought me a car or anything. It was like, they got me for my 16th birthday. They paid for driving lessons. And other friends got cars. But it was like, but because we go sailing, but what they didn't know is that my dad would buy a boat for like nothing because it was a piece of shit. And then he would rebuild the whole boat. And that was what we'd sail on. That was like his project.
Okay.
But yeah, so anyway, with this friend that we took mushrooms, when we went out, so we all got drunk and we hung out and partied and fooled around in tents, as is your want when you're in your early 20s. And then we took some mushrooms around a campfire. And well, you've watched there. And but I remember
now that I think about it, I've never actually been there. I've only watched there.
The worst part about a tent is the illusion of privacy, because you forget, and so you start talking at real voice, and that is not a wall. That is not a wall.
It's not a wall.
But yeah, so my friends Sierra, Jordan, and I we all when you take mushrooms, it's all vibes. And so you end up finding the people that vibe with you, and you go off alone, whatever works for you. And it was in and out of groups. But I remember my friend Sierra, Jordan, and I, when we were all starting to come up, the moon was huge, and we're like, we're chasing that moon. We are chasing that moon.
How did that work out for you?
Amazingly. We had so much fun. We followed the moon, and when we got deep into the woods, we found this beautiful lake. And
that's like something out of a fairy tale.
Well, we just called it. We were Mr. Tumnus. We'd gone full Narnia. We just emerged out of this woods into this beautiful copse with a lake on it. You can understand
why people thought the other world was a thing. Like,
oh yeah.
Every now and then things happen, and you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That story right there. Like, because, you know, I mentioned about the fairy forts before. They were very often the type of soil that grew magic mushrooms. So
yeah, that checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so I like it feels like a nice full circle that he calls it La Lune Fest. I like very much.
Yeah.
When I think the moon is like, I remember the moon is what I used to use to calm myself down when I was new to stand up and I had a big gig. I'd be able to, because it would seem like, I remember specifically before the Pleasance Reserve audition, I was so fucking nervous. And I remember I was walking around and I was going over my jokes and I was thinking about what I might change and things like that. And I sort of stopped and there was a big moon in the sky. And I was like, oh, the moon's out there. This doesn't fucking matter.
That's so cute.
That's the moon. It's there no matter what happens.
It really puts you into your planetary perspective.
Yeah, completely. You zoom out. You zoom out a lot with the moon. And and I still do that. It's really helpful. I'm a big fan. Canada's sorry?
Oh, I was going to say I don't really have anything like that before a gig. I don't know what I do. I guess I just freak out.
Yeah. No.
I've sort of to some degree have got my nerves under control. I never had too bad stage fright. I'm a bit shaky and I pretty much always feel like I'm going to piss myself. Before I go on, like right before I go on stage, I'm like, I really need to pee more than I've ever had to pee in my life.
Yeah.
Even if I've just gone to the toilet.
Yeah, always. Yeah.
But I don't know. One of the things that has always stuck with me was the difference between fear and nerves. You know, I've had the most fearful thing in my life happen, which was when I had to walk into my surgery. And I was convulsing. Like, my body was doing shit that I just didn't even know how to stop it doing. And like the nurses initially did not help. They were kind of trying to do loads of different things at once. I was like trying to take a pregnancy test whilst filling in forms and like doing all of this shit.
Jesus. And
they were all trying to get me to do the same thing at the same time, or do different things at the same time. So it was just really stressful. And then I just started to panic.
Yeah.
And they got me to walk like down the hall in the elevator and into the theater rather than getting me on anything.
Why did they explain that?
Because they were just like, you're so nervous, you need to walk. Like, if we put you in a chair, you're probably gonna fit or something.
Wow.
Like, yeah. And so I don't know, they got me in then, and the anaesthetist calmed me down, which is essentially their job.
Yeah.
But
in charge of vibes.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. As soon as I lay into the table, just floods of tears. But like, I wasn't even aware that I was crying.
Wow.
Like, there was just tears happening. Did I freeze?
I don't think so. Have I frozen?
Oh. You froze, but
okay.
Maybe my sound kept going. I'm not sure. But yeah, it was terrifying. It was pure fear. And yeah. I think anytime I think I'm nervous about a gig, I'm like, I'm not that scared.
Yeah, right. It's nice to have that in the past, not in the present. Yeah. It's nice to have that to be like, this isn't fear. Fuck you. I was reminded of by the way, we're getting some great comments from 1 million here. I just got here. Is Laloon Fest where I'm going tomorrow?
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, it is what you make of it, Will. That's the beauty of Laloon, from what I can tell. Oh, I'm very jealous. That's going to be wonderful. I was reminded of something today. I posted it on my Instagram that showed me how far I've come with confidence with performing. Where, excuse me, there was years and years ago. Well, shit, my FOMO is gone. Good. Yes, it is. But Gio, why are you here? Are you driving? This is very. I like this. I feel like there might be high already. Why is John there first? But
because he's John.
Yeah, fair enough. I was well, you booked him on shows. You know that punctuality isn't necessarily his biggest worry.
Yeah, but this is going to Laloon Fest, where he's going to get allegedly stoned in the woods. I feel like it's a different thing.
Oh, John is there first because some of us have jobs. Fair enough. Fair dues. Well, thanks for tuning in while you're driving. But
also sending messages while you're driving?
Oh, he said it's Google. He's just doing voice to text.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah.
Technology.
So I was doing a show 2 Edinburghs ago. I think it was either 2019. And I do my shows on the bus, on the blunderbuss, the Heroes of the Fringe thing, and I would do versus the audience, take a 10-minute break, and then I do my hour. So it was a very long month, but it was pretty cool, and I did it in the same room.
That's really cool.
It was really fun. I think I'm the first person ever to do that in the Fringe. I asked around. I don't think anyone's done that. I feel like I should have publicized that more, but here we are.
Yeah, we should have publicized that more.
Well, I talked to my agent about it, and they were like, So I was like, I don't know. You seem to know. They didn't know. It turns out they didn't know. Don't trust your agents, guys. regularly double check. But while I was doing the second show, which was my hour, and this old, awful woman just started heckling. Kind of out of nowhere, and I was like, whatever, that's part of it, I'll deal with her. So I shut her down a couple times, and she just wouldn't take it, and so I was like, oh, well, you hate this, so just leave. Why are you here? You're wasting your time. This is pointless. And then she was like, I paid for my ticket, I'm not fucking going anywhere. And it got to the point where the crowd was like, get out, you're the fucking worst, like, go. And she was like, no, I'm staying. I paid my £5. It's £5. It's not even a pint in most bars in Edinburgh.
At that point, you'd give her a fucking refund. Like,
right?
Get out.
I almost did. And then out of principle, I was like, you know what? No, fuck you. You're getting nothing. I'm keeping your money. You cost me the most.
In principle, I do agree with you. But you are a little bit like, just go.
Well, but that's what led to when it sort of clicked that she wasn't going to go. I was like, all right, if you're not going to go, then we're going to go. Who wants to watch this show in a parking lot? And the crowd went, yeah. And so I just took him off the bus and we went across the street.
That's so clever.
And I just did the show outside and it was amazing. It was so fun. And
that's so good.
My last joke was about, it was that one about horses having sexual fetishes. And that was the closing bit for the show. And just as I finished that joke, 2 horses, perfect timing, 2 horses walked behind me.
Oh my god.
And I was like, yeah, no, we nailed this. We goddamn nailed it. Let me see if I can. I posted the picture on Instagram. It's a really nice picture of the whole crowd out there. Let's see if I can find it. It was yeah, it was really cool. And that's something that like I never ever could have done years ago. I would have just folded.
I'd fold.
But because of years of doing this, I became able to go, you know what? Fuck this. My show.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh my god.
That's me in the crowd.
So good. That's excellent. Oh my god, I love that.
Yeah, it was really fun. In hindsight,
so good.
What I should have done is put myself with my back to the wall and put them facing me because they were a little distracted by the whole world going past.
But then you wouldn't have had the horses going behind you.
Yeah, my thought exactly.
So, swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, absolutely. It was pretty great. But and then the woman stayed in the venue for 15 minutes just out of spite.
She just sat in there for
sat in there with her 2 friends for 15 minutes and didn't fucking leave.
Insane behavior.
I asked the crowd,
I was like, grown-up person.
A lunatic, a goddamn lunatic.
That's who does that?
She was the worst. And then as she was leaving, because I asked the crowd, I was like, let me know when she goes out. And about 15 minutes in, she was being ushered. Like the crowd were like, they didn't want to say anything, but they were just fucking pointing and she's walking by. And Steve Mooney, and she's still there today.
But like, what does she at that point? What does she think she's achieving? Because she paid £5 for a ticket, but that ticket was to a show that is no longer happening around her. In her mind, is she just like, well, I paid £5 to be in this room for the next hour, regardless of what happens around me?
No idea.
The logic is just not there. And if she paid for the show, she should have gone out with you. Like, I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is wrong with people?
It was baffling. I mean, I always assume that at least 3 of the minutes were her trying to convince the staff on the bus, because the downstairs is a bar and the upstairs is the venue. And so I feel like she came down, bitched to the staff. But they can hear everything. It's a fucking open double-decker bus. They hear everything. So she must have been like, this fucking comedian. And they were probably like, go fuck yourself. This is not how we do things. You're an ass.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was fucking great. It was great. No unremovable chairs, bud. Screwed into the bus.
It's so weird.
So weird. Great though. Very fun.
That is fun. It's a great story, and it's great that you have that picture as well.
Yeah, I'm really glad someone took it. I think that might have been Paul. I think Paul Byrne took that.
Ah, that's good.
He was definitely there. I remember seeing him later that night, and he was like, "What was that?" And I told him the whole story. He's like, "Oh, good. I thought you just lost it. I thought something had happened during the French."
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, it was so fun.
I've not really been heckled that much, and so I'm still kind of afraid of it.
It's fine.
But I don't know. I'm not that afraid either. I'm just a bit like, I don't really know what to do. Just want to say, I'm driving along the side of the Gatineau River. The leaves are starting to change. It's goddamn beautiful, and I already feel more relaxed.
Oh, King Geo.
Aw.
I'm very happy for that.
Oh, I was at that Baldy. I was at that Lauren Pattison show as well. Only I didn't know that that's what she was gonna do, and so I thought the show was just off, and I left.
Oh no!
Yeah, and then I saw loads of Twitter shit about it, and I was like, "Fuck! I should have hung around." But they kept like this. The venue staff kept getting us to move down to where the bloody fire meeting point is. I've been in the Pleasance for fire alarms 3 times, and they always do that, and it's so fucking pointless.
The courtyard's real bad for it.
So pointless, but God love her. It went off during her show, but she apparently went and finished it and stood up on a bollard, and did the show out in the street, and I'm like, damn.
I remember it happens so many times. By the way, for anyone listening to the podcast, hello, podcast listeners. Welcome to the Untitled Twitch Stream Podcast. I'm Chris Betts. This is Ashley Manning. We do this every day, Sunday to Thursday. Subscribe and rate. Please tell your friends.
And John is usually here, but
John is usually here.
At the Loon Fest.
Getting very allegedly. Baldy said, I remember Lauren Pattison finished her show at the Pleasance standing on a bollard because the fire alarm went off with 10 minutes to go. I remember Garrett Millerick, friend of the show, Garrett Millerick. I was watching his show at the Pleasance a few years back, and same thing happened. Alarm went off, but it was like 10 minutes in.
Oh.
Right at the start, and he it had already happened 3 times during the run.
Shit.
And so this time he was like ready.
You would think they'd have it at a different time, but they're not planning it, are they?
They're not planning it. It's always an accident. But because of that, it went off, and he goes, "This is the 4th time this has happened. You're gonna follow me. There's a parking lot right next to the courtyard. We're gonna do the show out there." And so he just marched us all out there. We just took a seat in the parking lot. Some people came to their windows in the apartment and watched the show. It was really nice.
That's amazing.
It was really nice. Yeah.
That's so good.
That's a nice thing about the Fringe. That's pretty.
Yeah. I will say, I left Lauren's show, and I was a bit gutted I missed the end of it. But what did end up happening was I ran into a couple of Irish comedians who I only kind of just knew, like I'd only kind of met them a couple of times, and they said they were going to get food, and they invited me along, and I ended up spending the next few hours with them, and it was really, really nice, like getting to know them. And one of them especially has been pretty influential in my comedy career, I would say. Just meeting her was one of those turning point moments, you know. There's like certain people that you encounter in the industry as you go along that maybe change how you feel about something, or and she was just one of those people that, do you know what it was actually? It's a weird thing to say, but it was my first encounter with really getting to know female comics.
Really? How long had you been going?
About a year.
Damn. Do you think
About a
that's because
year.
you were in Edinburgh and the scene's not very big, or but you have like Amy
No,
Matthews
this
is
was
up there?
this was
and
when I was in Cork.
this is still in Ireland. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I was one of 5 female comics in the south of Ireland.
Oof.
And
Not even just Cork.
Not even just Cork. Like, well, I'm talking like Cork, Kerry, maybe Wexford and Waterford, but there just wasn't comedy scenes there.
Yeah.
There was maybe a couple of others from Limerick upwards, but yeah, I was one of 5. 3 of which had young children.
Okay.
And one of which lived down in Kerry. She was actually an asylum seeker, and so she was pretty tied in. Like, she couldn't really travel and do stuff very much. She was a bit stuck that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so I for a long time I was the only female stand-up out of Cork that traveled up through the country. So kind of just didn't, and I, like, they were nice women. I just never got to know them very well because they weren't at the open mics. They weren't really doing that much.
Yeah, you got to build that sense of community. It's hard.
Yeah, and so I was just hanging out with guys for the first year that I was doing comedy, and I realized only upon meeting that comic that I was saying, she's great. I can probably say her name. Anya Gallagher was her name.
Yeah, I can't imagine why you wouldn't. You've only been saying nice things about her.
Yeah,
It's a
I've
weird-
only been
it's a
saying
weird
nice
time to
things.
hold it
I don't
back.
know.
Yeah.
You know how sometimes you're not sure. But yeah, she's amazing stand-up. And meeting her was just like a big kind of turning point. It really, because she was just so nice and kind of welcoming, and invited me into a few other things. She was the person who got me to do Bright Club. I don't know if you know what Bright Club is.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, so they basically do academic comedy.
That's the
so
one that's on YouTube.
Yeah, that's the one that's on YouTube, and they get academics to come and do stand-up sets, but they get comedians to perform at it as well to sort of up the energy of the night, I guess. And so I got the opportunity to do that a couple of times because of her.
Nice.
And it just, it gave me like the beginnings of getting to know the female Irish stand-up scene, which is really so crucial when you consider the state of the Irish stand-up scene.
For anyone new to the show, it's a bunch of monsters.
It's a bunch of big rapey monsters.
Top to bottom monsters.
Yeah. And so they were essentially the group then that got together last year and started forming. Actually, I probably should have kind of plugged this by now on the show. A group called the Comedy Safety Standards.
You have plugged that before.
I have, yeah, I
You
have
have,
said
yeah.
that before.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember then all of a sudden. But yeah, there's a website. I was involved in the early days and I kind of took a step back. So it was just a bit heavy for me at the time. But Comedy Safety Standards, they have a website. They're on Twitter. I think they're on Instagram. Yeah, they're on Instagram. But they're still kind of pulling together a few things. Tommy Tiernan's good. Tommy Tiernan's all good. But some of the rest of them. Yeah, so that was just kind of a cool thing that came out of missing Lauren's show, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's comedy's such a weird shut up. Comedy's such a weird thing in that it's very lonely and it's very much DIY and no one will help you. And then it's also a community and people absolutely will help you and will give you all the advice that you need. But it's never both at the same time. You can't. Yeah. It's like it's what are the words I'm looking for? I don't know. It's either full or empty. You get these periods where you've got a great community and everything's going great. And then for whatever reason, people get more busy or people move or whatever, have people stop doing stand-up a lot. And then you lose that and then you're on your own. You're trying to figure it out again. You're in the morass and then you come out and it's like, oh, this is great again. But
Yeah.
people don't talk about that part often enough, I think,
Yeah.
where often you can just sit at a diner or something with a comic and they will literally advance your career over that hour.
Yeah.
Even if they don't call anyone for you, just by what they've told you, all the
Yeah.
information that you get, and then feeling like you have a friend. Famine or feast. Thank you so much, Kimmers. That's what I
Yeah.
was looking for. I feel like people on the podcast are just like, it's famine or feast, you fucking loser.
Yeah.
And I wish that part was more discussed, because it is it's pretty wonderful. It's pretty great how comics will come out and help you as well as
Yeah.
absolutely dance on your grave.
Yeah. It is. It's a business of extremes. Very, very much so. And it is a lonely one, I think.
You haven't even done the road yet. Oh, baby. Oh.
Yeah.
Man, when I'm in those hotels, I haven't seen my wife in 2 weeks. Damn. How are my friends? They're doing the same thing in other cities. We're all just being alone on this cycle as we go around the island.
Oh, God.
It's pretty great. It's pretty great.
Yeah. We'll see.
Mhm.
Who knows if I'll even get to that point.
You have to want to. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like no one accidentally ends up doing that. You end up, it's a lot of work that goes into being that alone for that long.
Yeah.
So yeah, no one accidentally ends up that way. And a lot of people avoid it for a very good reason. You know, it's not for everyone. I really like it. That's how I wanted to live. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a road comic. I didn't even see myself in theaters or on TV or anything. I saw myself doing headlining comedy clubs and traveling around and doing that and just telling jokes. That's all I wanted. I'd like a little more now, obviously. But as a kid, that was like, wow, what a fucking incredible way to live.
So you wanted to be a comic from...
Oh, one of us froze.
Like from when you were a kid?
Yeah, from when I was like 6.
Who's freezing? Is it me or Chris?
Someone's frozen. I got your question though.
So, okay.
Yeah, I've wanted to be a comic my whole life.
That's insane.
I fucking love it. I've always loved it. It was one of the few. Ashley is the freezer.
Hello.
Okay this time.
Yeah, I was. I remember watching comics when I was a kid and just realizing that it was like, oh, that feels like you get to do whatever you want, and that appeals to me very much.
Wow.
Yeah, I just fell in love with it. I love the way that they thought. They were some of the first people that made sense to me, which is insane. Just the way that they were looking at things, because I always had to explain myself twice whenever I talk to people, because they would go, "What do you see?" And I go, "This," and they go, "What?" I'd be like, "Well, this is this, and this," and it wasn't because I was smarter than them. It's just I'm weirdo, so I just see things wrong, which helps a lot with stand up. And so when comics are doing it, I was like, "Oh, you see things wrong the way I see things wrong. That feels good. I like that."
Oh.
And yeah, I loved it. And so it was like, yeah, I was one of the first things that I stole off Napster was Eddie Murphy's comedy specials.
Right.
And like I knew Delirious by heart. I knew every pause, let alone every word. I knew that whole thing. Yeah, and then when I moved to Cork, it was all like Billy Connolly and Bill Hicks and Eddie Izzard. And we just, because I was in the stock room, so we just play that all the time.
Did you go to any comedy in Cork?
I saw Tommy Tiernan at the one that's in the back of a pub. Or at least that's how I remember it. I mean, this was going on 20 years ago.
I don't know what venue that could be.
I don't know, but it was great. It was definitely in the back of a pub because my
Was it City Limits?
I don't know. Maybe. It was 20 years ago. But it was like my friend was who I was staying at the hostel called Sheila's in Cork, and which is like up the hill.
Yeah. I know Sheila's. It probably was City Limits then.
Yeah, maybe.
Was it close to Sheila's?
I honestly don't remember.
Okay.
I just remember getting a call from a friend of mine that had been at the hostel. I was the only one that stayed the whole time I was there because I just really liked meeting people. And I knew I wouldn't stay long, so I was like, why would I get an apartment? And one of them ended up being a bouncer at whatever this club was, bar. And he was like, I know you love stand-up. This guy was on last night, and he's going to be your new favorite thing. So come down. It ended up being Tommy Tiernan, and he tore the goddamn roof off. Like, it was one of the best things I've ever seen. It was amazing.
I love Tommy Tiernan so much. I really do.
He's remarkable.
Yeah.
I listened to a very nice interview with him on Adam Buxton's podcast that I absolutely recommend.
Oh, that's cool.
It's wonderful.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
He does a podcast with Hector O'Hogan and a woman called Loretta Blewett.
Those sound like cartoon characters, but fine. Continue.
I was in my mind. I was like, if John was here, he'd make a crack about their names. But
they are ridiculous names. They are.
So he does a podcast with the two of them in his shed, and he started doing it in lockdown, and he does it on a weekly basis. And my mum is convinced that our show is exactly the same as that show.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's exactly the same.
But
two guys and a woman just pooping. Just poop.
Just talking shit, basically. Because they're pretty much doing the same thing. They don't format it, they just go in and have a chat. They don't have a live audience. They're not doing anything video wise, but it's essentially the same. And my parents are Patreons of that. Which I found quite funny, because I was telling Mum that we were, we'd set up a Patreon and stuff, and she was like, oh, because I was expecting her to not know what Patreon was, and she was like, oh no, I'm a Patreon of Tommy Tiernan's podcast.
That's very nice.
Yeah, but I mean, it's essentially the same thing.
My dad has no idea what Patreon is, and I've stopped trying to explain it. I'm not doing it anymore. He's had his shot. Not explaining what Twitch is. I'm not explaining what Patreon is. I can barely explain what a podcast is. The closest I've got is on-demand talk radio. That's as close as I've been able to come. Doesn't understand it.
Oh, bless.
Isn't interested in learning. My dad has seen my stand-up. He cares for some of it. Not all of it.
Some of it.
Some of it.
Okay.
Yeah. He likes
Some
the
of
smart
it.
jokes. He doesn't like
That's
the
fair.
sex jokes.
Okay.
Yeah. Not a fan. For a guy that was in the Navy for fucking 16 years, that dude cannot take a cussing.
It's improper, Christopher.
Literally what he would say.
Yeah.
I think we might be on a delay.
I think we are, and I
Yep.
don't know which one of us it is.
I think it's you, because after I say something, there's a long pause, and then you react.
Okay, I will leave and come back.
Okay. Well, hello. It's just me. Yeah, to answer, that is what it is, to be fair. Yeah. The smart sex jokes, as long as there's nothing graphic in it, he's fine with it. He's okay with it. But he just doesn't like it. He stormed out of the room when we watched Reservoir Dogs because there was too much swearing. He really hates it. He can't stand it. And fair enough. I remember my mom was the opposite. My mom and dad came and see me in Copenhagen. They were visiting Irish family because my mom's from Dublin. And so they were like, Copenhagen's really close. Chris is doing a show. So they came out with my aunt and uncle. And we spent a few days there during the Zulu Comedy Festival. And I had a joke about how it's if you're a man, it's your responsibility to make a woman come. And I remember I used to say, I think that if you've been dating a woman for 2 months and you still haven't made her come, she should legally be allowed to make you sit, watch, and take notes while a professional fucks her properly. And there were these two young women, maybe in like their early 20s, that would like scream laughing at that. Hey, and we're back. King Geo, I am now 30 minutes away from John getting way out in the stick signals drama, so I'm going to have to say goodbye. Take care, Geo. Have an amazing
Bye.
weekend. We look forward to
Give
stories.
John a hug from us.
Take
please.
care of our boy.
find him. We need him.
You too, Milliam. But yeah, so I had. So I was just telling the chat that my parents came out to see me one time. They were visiting family in Ireland, and I was doing a festival in Copenhagen. So they're like, okay, let's go see Chris in Copenhagen. We'll spend a couple days in the city.
Because
nice.
Copenhagen and Ireland are so close together.
I mean, compared to Canada, no joke, the closest two cities in the world.
Yeah,
they are. It is a third of the distance from Dublin to Copenhagen that it is from Vancouver to the closest big city.
Wow.
Canada's fucking huge. Yeah, it's huge.
Oh my god. Wow.
And so
it's apparently 2 hours on a flight, which is less time than it would take to get one from one end of Ireland to another. So I guess that's fair.
Yeah, it's Europe's a whole other fucking level. But yeah, so they came out, and I used to do this show where I talked about how it was your duty to make a woman come. If you're sleeping with a woman, you gotta make her come. It's important.
God.
And the line was, if you've been with a woman for 2 months and you still haven't made her come, she should legally be allowed to make you sit, watch, and take notes while a professional fucks her properly. And
you said that in front of your folks.
Oh yeah, and worse. And there were these two young women, like early 20s, in the front row that were like scream laughing at that, like they loved it. And my mom was sitting right behind them, and she loved how much they loved it.
Okay.
Dad didn't like it at all. But I remember afterwards, Mom was like, "That was really cool that you said that, and those girls loved it like that." And I was like, "Yeah, that's what I do." And she's like, "I like that very much. That's very." So she could sort of see beyond it, which was nice. But
that's
yeah, Dad.
So nice.
Yeah, I wish. Steve Moody says, "Were your parents nodding at it?" I wish my mom had just like nudged my dad and been like, "Nice."
Oh wow. I will not have my parents come see me. It's not going to happen.
Sometimes they don't have a choice. Sometimes they just show up.
No.
I
sat them down, and before I even started doing stand-up, I sat them down and I said, I want to do this, and I want you to never come see me, and I need you to be okay with that. And they were like, okay, we're not really, but okay.
Yeah. Is that why? Is that part of why you don't have videos up?
It is actually, yeah. It is part of it, and I also kind of just never put videos up. I thought there is that little bit of a thing of when you put something online, you then have to retire that bit to some degree.
No. If you do it on.
What happens when you get a big Netflix special? Well, there's a very good chance my parents will probably just watch it without consulting me, but I will probably ask them not to.
But of course,
and if they do watch it, I will tell them that they're not allowed to talk to me about it. So
okay. Well, I mean, by the time you've got a Netflix special, you might feel a little looser about it.
I probably won't.
All right, fair enough. Patty said every time a plane goes by, he keeps thinking my house is being 9/11. It's so close. We're right on the flight path. It's the worst. I think my dad moved here in the middle of COVID, and so there were no flights. And so he's like, "Oh, it's so peaceful. Now everything's coming back." And we're like, "There's a lot of flights." And there's a lot of
dear.
flights. Yeah.
Oh.
But also, I have the windows wide open, and in winter that won't be the case. But yeah, you can.
I didn't. To go back to kind of, you were saying that you had wanted to be a stand-up since you were a kid. I only started seeing stand-up when I was a teenager. Because out in rural Ireland, it just isn't a thing, you know, there isn't that much going on around you. And there's comedians on TV, but it's pretty much only in the form of panel shows. You know, the panel being one of them that was on a little bit, and I sort of liked that, and I sort of started getting into that a little bit. But the first stand-up I actually saw was, or the first, not live, but the first stand-up I started watching was Lee Evans.
Amazing. Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he was something else. And I remember I had 2 of his DVDs.
Yeah.
Which I still have them. And one of them is I think it's the O2 was the one I watched and watched and watched and watched and
Okay.
watched. And I would just watch it on repeat every night pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being so struck with how he was able to tell a joke with a face movement. Like,
yeah,
the slightest face movement was a whole joke.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, he was just insane. And yeah, I was really, really into him, really liked him. And then I sort of started to find out some of the more Irish ones, Tommy Tiernan. Neil Delamere, became a really big fan of Neil Delamere. I think I saw he was the first person I wanted to go and see live. So the first stand-up show that I ever saw was a gift from my parents for my 18th birthday. There was a mini festival on in Killarney, which was 2 hours away from where I lived.
Nice.
But we went and stayed in a hotel, and we went to. It wasn't with my parents; it was with a friend from school.
That's where Patty is.
You're in Killarney.
Patty's in Killarney.
I forget what the hotel it was, but it was the big one. I don't know, the big main hotel where they host. It was a Comedy Central event. It was a Comedy Central event, weirdly, which doesn't really do very much in Ireland, but it says Comedy Central on the ticket. Yeah, it was at the INEC, the Gleneagle Hotel. And it was Neil Delamere headlining. I think it was Colin Murphy hosting, Carl Spain, Garrod Farley, Eleanor Tiernan.
Yeah. Love Eleanor so much.
Oh, she's great. But basically what happened was we went, and there was meant to be only 4 acts on the night that we saw, but Neil Delamere was actually sick. He got quite unwell, and so they had all the acts that were supposed to be on the following night. They all happened to be there the night before just to hang out. And they said, we're going to let Neil do a shorter time, but you guys are all going to come on now. So basically they had 8 acts on instead of 4.
Okay.
So I got to see all 8 of them. And Fred Cook was on that as well. I think Andrew Maxwell was too.
Nice.
So it was really cool lineup.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool because I still have the ticket with some of their names on it, and I'm like, I've performed with most of these now.
Yeah, that's a really cool feeling.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And Garrod is such a sweetheart. I love Garrod Farley so much.
By the way, podcast listeners, I want you to play a game right now. Try to spell Garrod in your head. Just guess. Just guess. In 5 minutes, I'll come back with the answer. You're wrong.
Yeah. It's Irish for Jared.
You wouldn't guess it, not from looking at it.
Yes, you would. It's so okay. I've grown up with the Irish language, and I need to remember that. It makes sense to me. So yeah, that was my first soiree into comedy, really. And then when I went to university for the first time, which was shortly after that gig. The first time I went to university was when I tried to do applied physics in the University of Limerick. So that's where I thought I was going. I thought I was going to do physics. At the time I wanted to be a Formula 1 test engineer. And so that's where I thought I was going with my life. And I went to the Clubs and Societies Fair. And this group of guys surrounded me as I was walking around. They just came right up onto me and just started saying, do you want to join Comedy Society? Do you want to join Comedy Society?
God, we're so fucking needy. Oh, I hate us so much.
And I think they thought they were being so funny. They had planned it, and it was so funny, especially because I'm still such friends with all of them.
Oh, really?
That I kind of just love that was
Okay,
something
fair
would
enough.
happen.
I wasn't there. If it worked, it worked. That sounds like a nightmare.
Do you know
That
what? The
sounds
only
like the
reason I
worst.
think it worked was because I thought they were saying, "Do you want to join camping society?"
Yeah, no, that's much better. A group of dudes surrounds you in a hall and is like, "You want to go to the
Well,
woods? You want to come out to the
yeah,
woods
so
with
that's
us?" You
kind of what I stopped them. I was like, "What are you saying camping society?" And they were like, "No, that's not what we're saying." And so then comedy society seemed kind of better. But it was so funny. And then I went along to their little, they laughed at me thinking it was camping, and then I ended up chatting to them and they invited me along to the meeting, the first AGM or whatever. And that was kind of it. Like I got so into it, but going to see them start doing their little kind of, they were starting to do what am I saying?
Were you about to say little skits?
No.
Were you about to
No, I
like
wasn't saying
every
little skits.
comedian's mom? How are your little skits? How are your...
No, that's not what I was gonna say. I was gonna say the society gigs. So they were organizing like comedy society shows. And they used to do really nice ones in a pub in Limerick called the Blind Pig. Really nice little pub in Limerick. And we used to go in there, and I sort of got into like organizing the gigs with them because they all wanted to be on the gigs. I got really into organizing them. But it was the first time I realized, oh, this is something you can learn to do.
Yeah.
Before that, I just watched it on TV, and it didn't register with me that you could do it. And when I started seeing these little gigs, and they're obviously just all people who are starting comedy, who are learning comedy.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I went, oh, okay, this is something I can learn to do. And so my actual first gig was one of these society gigs, but I don't really count it as my first gig because there was nobody in the room and I hadn't written anything. And it was one of these things where they had kind of badly organized this gig and they just went, we need some people to come up. And so in like a really stressful few minutes, I wrote out some thoughts on a piece on the back of a receipt. And I got up and I just kind of said them. And then I didn't do it again for 6 years.
Yeah. Cool.
But at the time I remember just thinking I didn't really want to do it because I didn't want to be a female comic.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're notoriously unfunny, right? No one wants to be unfunny.
But everything I had seen up until that point was just a bit like I could only see women having to justify themselves on stage.
Yeah.
And it was only in the kind of 5 years that followed that I noticed a shift. Now, again, I was in rural Ireland, so it was probably just taking a little bit longer to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, you're about 7 years behind. That's...
So, yeah, approximately. Yeah. I'm pretty sure we were one of the last people in the world to have dial-up because other lesser off countries didn't even get to dial-up. They just got skipped and got straight onto like broadband internet. And so we had dial-up until so late.
I can still hear that sound as soon as we said dial-up. I know exactly the sound that goes on the receiver when you pull up the phone. Yeah. Ouch.
So yeah, it was only when I went to the Cat Laughs Festival about 6 years later, and I saw Alison Spittle, Joanne McNally, and Aisling B, and I went, "That's I could be like that. That's something interesting. That's fun. They're fucking comedians, and they're like." Nobody's telling them otherwise. And honestly, I had seen Eleanor at that gig, and she was the only woman on a lineup of 8. Which is, standard. You still get that, I guess.
Yep. As long as John's got anything to do with it.
The next time I saw her, it was such a different experience. Such a different experience. And then, you know, I've kind of gotten to meet her a few times and chat with her a bit. And she actually stayed with me one time. I'd forgotten about that. But yeah, just totally different experience seeing her. And she did my show in 2019, and I think one of the nights that she did my show might have been the best performance I saw that Fringe.
Nice.
You know, sometimes you see somebody where everything hits.
Yeah, they're in the zone. The audience is in the right spot for
There's
it.
like a spark in the room or something. And she said she had this one bit of material, and I don't remember what the joke was, but she had a bit of material about fairy lights, and it was just fucking brilliant.
Yeah, she's amazing. A friend of mine still quotes her bit about hand dryers all the time. He's like, oh, who was that Irish woman that you had on the show? Because I used to book a new material night for a little while at my friend's pub. She came on, she was still working that bit out, and she was like, my friend was howling, and he's just like, I can't wash my hands without thinking of her. She's so funny. I was like, why can't you remember her name? He's like, I'm bad with names, you know that.
What's her hand dryer bit?
Oh, he's like, she goes, I think that when we look back on this time, what we'll truly remember it as is a golden age of hand dryers.
Yes, I have heard that.
Who could have guessed that the solution was more air?
I have seen that bit.
It goes into mortality with the bones on your hand. It's so funny. It's a fucking great bit. I think, if you want to watch it, it's on. She did it during, I think, the Melbourne Gala, so you can find it on YouTube. Look up Eleanor Tiernan Melbourne Gala. It's such a good joke.
I remember Neil Delamere having a bit about the Dyson hand dryers. You know, the ones that you put your hands into, which are a bit defunct now. Like people have proved that they just spit the bacteria back onto your hands. But you know, I remember thinking this was the funniest joke I'd ever heard.
Shouldn't your hands already be clean by the time they're in that dryer? Shouldn't there not be the bacteria left? Isn't that the whole point?
Because they're not cleaned properly, they just get dusty and dirty, and they just don't. Okay. Because you're putting them into a contained little airspace thing, you're just getting other people's bacteria back on your hands.
Gotcha.
But I remember they were pretty new at the time. And I think this might have actually been at that first gig I went to. But he did this joke. And it was about how those hand dryers kind of look... They're kind of shaped like boobs. The bits that you put your hands into, right? Yeah. They're kind of shaped like boobs. And he said that he started laughing in a bathroom once because he thought about a woman putting her boobs into the hand dryer.
That's funny.
It's really funny.
Funny.
But then, but then he keeps going with the story where he said he had a female friend that he obviously trusted enough to tell this thought to. And she said, good night, Kimmers. So the female friend, when he told her this thought he'd had, she was just like, I'll be right back. And she went into the bathroom, and he apparently just heard, we're getting raided.
What?
We're getting raided. Anatomical bomb.
Anatomical
Thank you so
bomb.
much for raiding the stream.
Welcome, Raiders. It's time for a raid video. Here we go.
Suck my beard, try and so raid. Welcome to the Untitled Twitch stream with John and Chris and Ashley. Stick around and give us a follow. You are awesome.
Welcome, Raiders.
Welcome in. We're just telling a story about what might happen if a person was to put their boobs into a Dyson Airblade hand dryer.
Perfect timing, guys. Thank you so much for the follow. Anatomical
Perfect
Bomb.
timing.
And
Anatomical Bomb, thank
Thank you for the raid. What sent you over if you weren't following?
Yeah, how did you find us? Do let us know. Goat Harasser, great name. Welcome in.
Oh, thank you for the follow, Goat Harasser.
Nuka Boy 2003, thank you for the follow. I always thought of somebody drunkenly using a Dyson Airblade as a urinal and the piss flying everywhere.
Yeah, I've thought of that. I've thought of that a bunch of times. Yeah.
So what happened was his female friend goes into the bathroom and he just hears her laughing her ass off. And she comes back out and he's like, well, what happened? And she was like, well, I put them in and the air came on and they just went. Well, I don't know how to.
You got to stand up a little bit. We can't see where your hands
stand
are.
up a little bit,
Yeah.
and she's like, they just went like that. They just
just pushed right out of the way.
And I just think that's the funniest idea.
I pictured like a brrrr, but no, just full evacuation. We're out of here.
And I've always like, okay, I'm not very chesty. I don't have big boobs. And I've never really had a problem with that, except for not being able to test that out.
Oh, Radiant User, thank you so much. Thank you so much for guiding the raid over here. You're the
That's
best.
so cool.
Much
Welcome in.
obliged.
Guys, this is essentially a live podcast. So we record this Sundays to Thursdays, 10 o'clock to midnight if you're in the UK. If you're where Chris is, I don't know what time it is, but I don't know. Other
It is
times.
3 in the afternoon. I'm on the west coast of Canada.
Okay, 3 in the afternoon right now.
It's so
Wow.
civilized. I'm drinking tea. It's a fucking beautiful day. I'm going to go for a walk after this. I got 3 hours before dinner.
I can't even go for walks.
Thank you for the follow, Mr. Tonk. Welcome to the Troggies.
Welcome in. So yeah, we do this show Sundays, Thursdays, and we also
Thank you, Turn Gas.
Thank you for the follow.
Radiant User, thank you for subscribing.
Radiant User.
That's it. Not Radiant User, as John calls them. It's Radiant
No,
User.
but that's what I just did as well.
I know. Oh, Kirsten got a gift sub. Kirsten, thank you so much. You're so
Kirsten,
wonderful.
Thank you.
Dungeon Demon.
Thank you for the sub. Or is that
But
another gift?
okay, so because of the way StreamYard works is we don't know if anyone was gifted.
Yeah.
We get we just get that someone's sub. So if someone's gifting, Kirsten, you're wonderful. If you're buying
Thank
it,
you.
you're wonderful too.
Everybody who's doing anything with subs is great.
Yeah, and follows and just chatting.
Just chatting, exactly.
That sucks.
forget
I
what I
really
was
want to
gonna
do.
say.
I really want to do that now. I've thought a number of times about
know.
putting my dick in that thing, but it's just a little too high. It's just too high.
It's
You
a
can't quite
little
get up
too
there.
high. Yeah.
It's really hard.
Bring a step ladder someday.
But even then, like, what do you lean on? And you got to sort of like squat over it. You almost have to lower your dick and balls into the middle of it and hope for the best, I guess. And
Hope
it's also
for the
dangerous
best.
because
It's
balls are
very
so
dangerous.
sensitive
That's
that
like-
as
that
soon as that
seems-
hits,
Yeah.
ow.
That it does seem like something that's gonna hurt in some way.
Go to the smaller ones. That feels like an attack, Nuka boy. That feels like an attack. I don't know why. I don't know why we're doing that. There's a real risk of ball slapping, and that is, I worry about that. One day I'm going to do it. One day I'm just going to not care anymore, and someone's going to walk into the men's room, and I'm going to be lowering myself into a Dyson Airblade, and they're going to go to leave, and I'll be like, no, you're going to want to see this. Don't act like you haven't thought about it. Be with me in this moment.
That's definitely a form of public indecency.
Go to harasser, witness me.
I also might need somebody to call an ambulance. Yeah, if you're new to the show, we also have the episodes go out on Spotify, on YouTube, and we have a Patreon if you feel like checking that out as well.
We got it all.
You
We got it all. Not just Spotify. Podcasts is everywhere you listen to podcasts.
Wherever,
so
yeah. I say Spotify because I don't have an expansive enough view of the world.
they're all out there. Castbox, if you want to go
Castbox?
indie,
What is that?
Amazon Music,
know
we're on.
Stitcher.
Apple, Stitcher,
That's
we're
it.
on Stitcher. We're on all that stuff, man.
I don't know how to read the insights on the podcast thing. I went in to have a look the other day and I was just like, this doesn't make sense to me.
It's fine. It's not, that part has nothing to do with us. That's done. That's finished.
Okay.
That's people laughing at your YouTube videos. It's over. You can't do anything. It's already been put out. Honestly, C. Mooney, I feel like C. Mooney said, honestly, officer, you'll want to stick around for this. And this is in reference to me lowering myself into an airblade. I think a cop would be like, you know what? Doesn't look illegal to me. Let's see where this goes. You know what? I've had a shitty night. I could really use watching a guy lower his cock and balls into a Dyson Airblade. That would really that would get me through the rest of the evening. It's New Year's Eve. It's been terrible. Yeah, I could see that. You on Pocket Casts? That's Patty, so I feel like that's a joke. Yeah, right. Yeah, I love all that shit. I haven't done any like mischief in so long. Aside from like fucking with you with movies, I haven't done mischief in so long.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to get back out there,
I know. I'm so torn between being like, COVID is still here. I still have to be really careful. I had a little bit of fun in August, but I should probably, the numbers are probably going up and I don't really want to get COVID. Like, my brain is just spinning with anxiety. And on the other side, I'm just like, I really want to go get drunk and dance and like be stupid. And it's so frustrating.
I want to go to a bar and tell lies to strangers that they're not sure how they feel about. That's one of my favorite things in the world. I remember I was doing
kind of lies.
Like I was doing a show at a university in Kent. It was with Christopher MacArthur Boyd and Tom Lucy.
Okay.
And it was so fun. It was a really fun show. Lying to people online isn't the same because you don't get the eye contact, Nuka boy. You gotta look. You gotta see the indecision on their face as they decide where to go with this conversation.
You get it when you dick around with me with films, but it's not the same.
Yeah, but I can see your face, so that's not But it's not the same because I want you to be in on it. You just aren't. So that's, but yeah, these kids just asked, they're like, oh, what part of America are you from? And I was like, I don't feel like correcting anyone. And Texas was in the news for something horrific that they'd done recently. And I just went, Texas. And they all went, what? And they're like, well, what do you think? I was like, it's fucking great there, man. It's amazing. You got any questions? I'll answer all your questions. And just the further they went, I was like, no, it's awesome. Everyone's so nice. I mean, not if you're black, obviously, but everyone else, they're so nice to us. And because it was like people that A, had never left the UK, B, had only heard horrific things about Texas because it's basically a cartoon now. Yeah. And C, like they're at that age where they feel very socially progressive, but they haven't had to put the work in to know what it means.
Okay.
So it's all still in theory,
Right.
And so that's a very fun time to fuck with people because they have very deeply held beliefs that are based on nothing. It's just theory. There's no practical use, so they can't defend themselves. So I wasn't like I wasn't saying anything hateful. I was still maintaining like all my beliefs. But I just got to frame it in a fun Texas way and just watch them squirm for an hour. They were so uncomfortable. And I just like doing that. It's just they have a fun time. They're not upset. I'm not pissing anyone off. I just tell fun little lies.
I am too serious. Like I've never been able to do that sort of thing. My brother likes to do that sort of thing. My brother's a real jokester, as it were.
Yeah, calling him a jokester isn't doing anything for your I'm too serious.
Yeah, I know. However, it's appropriate for his sense of humor. But my brother used to do that a lot when he would go over to America to do he would teach at sailing academies in his summers during university, and he was teaching at sailing academies, so his clientele were spoiled rich kids that just didn't know anything about the world, and so he used to convince them of so many different things about Ireland.
Oh yeah,
like he fully convinced them that we didn't have cars, that
of course
we went around on donkey and cart.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, I'm telling them this whilst I'm on my smartphone.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and they won't blink.
But they fully believed it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I used to tell people that I was on the Olympic curling team. I used to tell people that Paul Gross from Due South, you know that Mountie show that we sometimes force you to watch the intros from?
Uh-huh.
He's my uncle. We're best friends. I see him all the time. Anytime someone knows someone from Canada, oh, I know her. Of course. Yeah, Susie. She's great. She asks after you all the time. You heard what happened though, right? That's great fun. That's the
so
best.
Bold.
It's just fun. It's just mischief. It's just fun and silly. See, Boomstickery said reality is interesting enough, but it's not fun. It's about the fun. That's all. Yeah, I really, really miss that. That's and it looks like fucking BC's about to lock down again. So just as I get my apartment in Victoria, I'll just be alone in there.
Oh. Yeah, I'm feeling it now. I'm just sort of, I had the Fringe and that was really, really nice, but I feel like I'm being forced back into a cage now that I actually did get out of.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't leave in the middle.
Yeah.
Because I knew I'd get mad.
Yeah.
If I experienced out, you can't go back in. You can go in the one time and you can stay. That's it.
Ugh. I wasn't doing great though, and I think I did need it. But yeah, I had such a nice time, but then you're kind of hit with this little bit of I could have picked that up. I could have gotten COVID so easily so many times there, and it just feels kind of feckless. But that just, it's just like, another reason to be annoyed with yourself. And I have enough of those,
Yeah.
And so I'm just really struggling with it a little bit. And I'm fucking lonely,
Aww.
It's one of the reasons I love doing this show is that I just get to talk to somebody every day.
Yep.
But otherwise I'm just fucking sad.
Yeah. Fucking sucks, man. Because even like I would go out and do shows or like eat or something, and you go in and everyone's masks, and BC takes it super seriously, and they're checking vaccine passports at the door. They're doing it with ID when you get in, and I've seen them turn people away. Like they're not fucking around. After they check it, everybody has to sanitize their hands before they walk in, so you're not bringing anything in. You got to wear your mask all the way, and then you sit down at the table. Everyone takes their masks off, and it's just like fucking before the pandemic. And you just hang out without your mask on for an hour and a half in a room full of maskless people. And it's like, this is
so weird.
So well-meaning. This is so well-meaning. And this makes no fucking sense.
Yeah. Nuka Boy 2003. There is a third person. John Hastings is usually here. But we do this 5 days a week. Sometimes one of us is not able to make it.
Yeah.
And he is currently at a festival
of about 5
allegedly.
Guys. It's like a 5-guy festival in the woods. Yeah. This is so, but Nuka Boy, this is exactly the kind of lie I'm talking about. Oh yeah, of course I know Queen Liz. We get drunk every Friday. And people will believe you. People will absolutely, specifically Americans will believe you.
Yeah.
But they want to believe that people know the Queen. Holy shit, they want to know that. That's my favorite. I think my favorite thing about Americans is what they want to believe. Yeah. It's just so they're so open to it. There's a guy out here called Rick Mercer who is like, comedically he's fine. He's had a career that's 35 years and you can't fuck with that. That's amazing. But like he used to do this thing just called Talking to Americans, which is shooting fish in a barrel. Because he was like, he'd just go up and he'd be like, what do you think about the Canadian senior flow? And they're like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh well, in Canada, once people hit the age of 65, we put them on an ice floe and just send them out to the ocean. And people are like, that is horrific. Oh my goodness, that is.
That's so good.
I always thought you were so nice. People are so mad about it. The one where he goes, He goes, can you just can you just say Canada, congratulations on finally getting television? And they're like, oh my God, I'm so happy for you. Congratulations, Canada. You did it. We've had it since the 30s.
That's so funny.
They want to believe that everyone is smaller and further behind than they are, and that allows for the most fun.
Wow. Hi, my name is Ruin. Lies, he's off wanking at the botanical garden. That was yesterday.
That was yesterday. Full brass eye, but you don't even need. Christopher Morris was a genius the way that he did it. You don't need to be. You can just do it. They'll just believe you. Americans are amazing.
That's funny.
Just show up. I will always give Chris Morris more credit than Sacha Baron Cohen, because he did it to British people who are naturally more skeptical, and Sacha Baron Cohen does it to Americans, and that is the easiest group.
I've only been to America a handful of times when I was a child, but I just distinctly remember. What are you laughing at?
That's Steve Mooney's thing.
A guy I worked with worked out that he was around 250,000th in line to the throne. His line was, "All it would take is one natural disaster, and I'm king, motherfuckers." I like that. Non-cynical people freak me out. What blessed life have you lived? I know, right? I find that really stressful when I meet people who've just had really simple lives.
But it's not that. Like, people with horrific lives in North America have the most positive outlook.
Oh yeah, that's a different thing.
It's just a different mindset.
There are still people who have had
hope.
Kind of
The horizon
easy.
Represents hope as opposed to impending doom. It's all very sort of
the people who have God, and you kind of envy them for it in a weird way.
Yeah, or a god, I guess. Whatever.
A god.
Yeah. It's the American dream. The American dream is what gives them the hope.
Yeah.
Is that idea that you can do it. You can always do it. Whereas in the UK, you don't have it because you have the class system. Not in Ireland, but like because my shared experience is more England, is because the class system, you are who you are. Too fucking bad. Doesn't matter how much money you make, you're still working class and from Essex. And even though that means nothing, it means everything to them. And so they're stuck. So there's no sense of hope because you're locked in. It's a caste system. Whereas in North America, you got money, do what you want, man. We don't give a shit.
America has somehow bred this adaptive mindset, whereas Britain is very much stuck in maladaptive process of mindsets. Just like that. Yeah, you're limited in your worldview of what you can achieve and what you can do, and
nothing good will happen, but also we'll survive all the bad things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is just the bleakest.
So there's so we're getting some feedback on the American dream here. It's like the American dream is being gullible. The American dream is believing you're the next millionaire and waiting. That one is that I can't remember who said it, but he said America is full of poor people who believe that they're just not a millionaire yet. And it will have, and that's why they vote. That's why they constantly vote against taxing the rich, because they're like, when I'm rich, though, I'm not going to want to pay that. And it's a real, like, the secret mindset, but it's also, something that can sort of happen in a way. You can't get Elon Musk rich. You have to have a father that was mining with child soldiers for 30 years and then build off that. But you got to commit a crime. But if you want to make like enough money up until the 90s, you could do that. That was a real thing. That was a real thing. And it's only this generation that's growing up now that's like, you can't, that's over. That they're becoming cynical now. And you're seeing it in the way that they're approaching causes and the sort of general nihilism that's into, because we had it in like the early 90s and mid 90s where nihilism was kind of cool, but it wasn't this. Now it's fucking nothing matters, burn it down. And so, that's a Jan Bat, thank you so much for the follow. John Bat, thank you for the follow.
Welcome to the Troggies.
But it's up until then, you could fucking do it. Like I said, when I was born, my parents lived in a fucking trailer. Like we were trash. We were trailer trash. And by the time I graduated, like they owned a house. Yeah. It wasn't a big house, but they owned a house and we lived in it. And that was pretty cool. For my graduation, they were able to give me a flight to France. Once I was there, I had to
Mhm.
fucking become a janitor to live. But they paid for my flight for my graduation present. You know, we
Yeah,
were
that's
okay.
pretty cool.
But that shit is over. Sorry, young people, your parents aren't even boomers. Ha ha, not like me. My dad's a boomer. Ha 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 ha.
I think
His money will
my
be gone.
folks are the generation after boomers.
Thank you for following Posey Liquor. Welcome to the Truggies.
Welcome to the Troggies. I'm not entirely sure what generation my parents sit on.
When were they born?
My dad was born in 1958.
Okay. Yeah, so he's like the nuclear family generation.
And my mother was born 1964.
My mom was as
right?
old as your dad, and my dad is older than your mom. Or my dad, yeah. Whatever one the oldest one in your family is, that's the youngest
Okay.
one in mine. And then my dad is older. My dad was born in
Right.
47. My dad's old as shit.
Okay. My dad's best friend is old now. He was born 1944. And he see, if you were born at that point in Ireland, you are able to get a British passport.
Oh, yeah.
Which is just really weird.
Complicated.
But he's never gotten it.
Of course not.
He has American citizenship, I think, because he went and lived in America for so long. He used to be a cartoonist in New York.
No way.
He'd, like design
Your parents
cartoons.
are cool, man.
Yeah, no, that's my dad's friend, not my dad.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty cool. He's a funny man. My mother said that the first time he met her, he just said to her, "So tell me, my dear, are you a virgin?"
In like a fun way or in a priest way?
Oh no, in a fun way. Like he
Okay,
loves
good.
to stir shit. He's
Okay.
so
Yeah.
bold. So my mother used to tell me that story. And then the first time that I went to see him myself as an adult, he asked me the same question.
Of course. Of course. Consistency matters.
Oh dear.
And you were like, take a seat, sir. I have some tales to tell.
Oh no, I didn't tell him a thing. It's
Oh,
my
I want
dad's
to.
friend.
I want to address. this real quick. Nuka Boy, are we the Trugs from Fallout 3? No, I don't know what that is. I've never played Fallout 3.
No idea what that is.
Ashley and I were trying to make up a new slur,
And we came up with Troggies.
Troggies came out. Makes people don't like it, but we love it. And gradually you learn to love it.
You call somebody a Troggy, like they're feeling offended, but they're not sure why.
Yeah, they're gonna have to think about it. They're gonna have some questions.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. I really have to go to the washroom, so I'll see you in a second.
To the washroom? Is he in Victorian England?
I gotta pee, bitch.
Yes, but to the washroom.
Yeah, in Canada we don't say toilet. It's very rude to say toilet, even though that's where we're
Really?
heading. It's washroom or bathroom. Yeah, or men's room. Though not men's room anymore
Washroom.
because it's
You
all
could have
gender
said
neutral.
bathroom.
Ones.
Bathroom is like the normal word.
I don't
Go
know. That's all I was
pee.
gonna say. Now, who's to say I'm not peeing right
Water
now,
closet.
Ashley? Yes, I'm going to the water closet. Thank you.
Okay, ask me anything. Go, chat, do your thing. Trogs are cannibal humans in Fallout Pit. Okay. So washroom is a Canadian term. I've never heard that before, ever. Oldest relative. Gosh, I don't know. Oldest living relative is my grandmother, I guess, because my dad's parents are dead. Yeah, my mother's mother is probably my oldest current relative. What do you like on a burger? Oof. If it's a beef burger, pretty much kind of I don't really like cheese on a burger. That's my one. I don't really go for it, but otherwise lettuce, tomato, cucumber, maybe a little bit of mayonnaise, maybe. Yeah, that would be me on a beef burger. I love a chicken burger more so, and it's my birthday next. Drop by the stream on Tuesday. I read one of the comments that said a lot while I was saying things there. Tuesday, it's my birthday. And we'll be doing a Who Knows Ashley Best quiz between John and Chris. I have some questions written. I'm going to be writing a few more before Tuesday. I'm going to have 28 questions because I'm turning 28. I don't know. That makes sense in my mind. And so I've booked in to go to Buck's restaurant in Glasgow with a friend of mine for dinner because fucking yes. Fried chicken burger. And I think I usually go for some sort of, I like a barbecue sauce or I love like an Asian slaw. So not like a coleslaw, but like a red cabbage carrot kind of slaw with sort of mustardy flavors or something. That's kind of good for me. Or love a kind of a garlic mayo. I'm fucking getting hungry now, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. They'll ask who's Ashley. I hope not. Will pick one, an all expenses paid holiday in Cuba for a month or 15 minutes on the moon. Cuba, 100%.
Wait, what's going
to
on?
Cuba.
Oh,
so
the
I
moon.
was asked
the
to
moon
pick
in a
one.
second.
What?
The moon in a second. Absolutely.
That's insane.
No,
it
no
would
question.
Be so underwhelming.
No, it's the moon, Ashley. It's space. It's the moon.
Space dust. It's space dust and rocks.
You're in
You don't
outer
even get to go outside.
You're in outer space. You do. You got a big fucking suit on it, but the moon every time. The moon. I was just telling you how much the moon means to me.
Nah.
The moon.
Nah. It's Cuba for a month, please.
To see the Earth from space.
I have no desire to go to space.
What? None?
None. It scares me.
Oh my God. It terrifies me. I want to go so bad.
Absolutely terrifies me. I have no desire at all. I don't even like flying that much.
Place it 420 says, what about the moon for a month?
No. Thank you.
It is that's one of the things I want to do most in the world is go into space. I would adore going into space.
Insane.
I want it so fucking bad. I'm so jealous of that stupid 18-year-old with his dumb rich dad.
So that's what you would do if you had it.
Fuck yeah, I would go into space.
You have unlimited money. That's what you want to do. You want to go to space.
First. While I was on my way to space place, I'd make sure that I'd have lawyers be like, just put all this in will to my wife, just in case. She might want to come. I don't think she would. I don't think she'd like to come. But holy shit, do I ever want to go to the moon?
I'm okay with that, so long as there's a pool. Genuinely, I want a pool so bad.
Okay, we got
pool in
a
my
pool.
life.
Okay, I see. I don't really care for pools. I think they're fine. I'll visit them, but I don't. Give me a warm ocean. I'm into it. But the pool and
warm ocean.
Yeah.
Cold ocean. Warm weather.
Have you been in a warm ocean?
Not really.
Yeah, that's why. It's amazing. It's so much better.
I would love a pool. I think, if I had unlimited money, I would just like a relatively small house. I honestly, at the moment, I just want a house. It's like I want something that is mine to live in, that I can do what I want, that is like just literally all my own space.
Yeah.
I can't it was never
common.
that big of a dream for me. I never really thought that it never seemed possible to me to own property, and I always just thought, it's not that important to me anymore. And the past couple of years, I'm just like, it's my only dream. Like, I don't even need anyone in that house with me. A family and kids is not my dream.
Yeah.
A house is my dream.
Just a place that you can close the door to the world.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's mine.
Yeah.
I can't stress how much I want that so badly.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I still don't think it's possible, but I'm gonna try my best to make it possible. So I want a house. I want
so bleak, goat harasser. So true. So bleak.
How
Go
crazy
Harasser
is it? The
says.
dreams 30 years ago were huge mansions. Now we're just happy with a roof over. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the
It's
economy's
so
doing great. The
depressing.
economy's doing great.
The economy is shocking.
Can't it 1 million? Can't it
I
last
think
forever?
it will. I think
Yeah.
it will last forever.
think
I
so
don't think
too.
that's popping anytime soon.
No. Also, what did you hear that like companies are buying whole towns?
Oh, that makes me
So
sick.
it's not like individuals that are buying all the houses anymore. It's like companies are buying villages because Google's got campuses and shit like that. And so other companies are like, oh, why don't we do that? And so they're buying whole towns so that it's near their factory and their house, and their workers can just live in that. And that way it's great because, you know, your whole housing situation is just tied to your job. And that'll make for no, that won't cause any problematic power dynamics, right? Just the company that you work for also owns your house. And once you're fired, you probably have 2 weeks to find a new place to live with your family and things like that, you know? And they probably track you everywhere you're working because that's where things are going now. Hey, sounds like a great idea to me.
I hate it so much.
Oh, yeah, it's a fucking nightmare. Tiny homes is the funniest thing. Tiny homes is such a like, it's okay. It's okay. It's a home, right, guy? It's okay.
Yeah.
Just through gritted teeth. It's.
What about having a free house of your? I'll take that. I will take a house on the moon. I'll
No
take
pool,
a house
though.
on the moon.
Can't swim. Low gravity. All the water will fly out.
Yeah, but low gravity, all the weight will be off my shoulders, which is kind of what I like about a
It
pool in
doesn't-
the first place.
Gravity doesn't affect emotional issues, Ashley. There's no.
It can simulate that it does. If I ever had enough money to have a pool on that house, though, that is legitimately something I would love.
Yeah.
Just so much. Would love it. And I'd like to just travel and just see things. I have
Just not space. Just not the most
Just not
incredible thing
space.
that mankind has
there's
ever
nothing to see. There's nothing
found.
to see.
The sheer scope of it. The
No.
Infinity of creation. No,
Does
nothing.
nothing for
No.
me.
All right.
It
Cool.
freaks me out. It freaks me out.
Good news. You can swim in space, according to Nuka Boy. What does that change your mind?
What's a great book on space, on living on the moon. It's the same guy that wrote The Martian. Wrote another book after that called Artemis.
Okay.
And I fucking loved it. I also loved The Martian. Did you ever read it?
No, and I haven't seen the movie.
Don't see the movie because the movie does nothing for it.
Okay.
The
But is it
book
a good movie on its own if I just discount it being a book first?
I read the book first, and so I just hated the movie.
Okay. I won't take your call then. I'll ask other people.
Yeah, ask somebody else.
it's hard.
But the book itself is so good. It's so funny, and they really missed
Oh, someone froze. It's one of us.
so much. It's frozen.
One of us is frozen.
One of us. But the book is so funny. And okay, the movie was nominated for a Best Comedy Emmy, but honestly, they missed so much of the humor in the movie. So
Really?
much.
Okay.
The book is so funny. But yeah, the following book, Artemis, they're not the same story or anything. But the book he wrote, Artemis, was really good.
Okay. Well, I'll check it out.
Yeah,
And-
light fiction, but like he's
Great.
backed it up with so much
Great.
physics.
That's fun though. I love The Godfather is light fiction. I mean, it really is. It's like it's arguably his worst book in a lot of ways. But it's like very simple. But yeah, like light fiction is very fun. I need to find a good fiction book as well because all I've got right now are nonfiction books. And they're great, but I want something that's like I can just lose myself in a story kind of thing.
Read The Martian and Artemis then.
Okay.
Genuinely, especially if you love space.
I fucking love space. Space is amazing. I sit and I look at pictures of galaxies like just in my spare time.
Yeah.
I can absolutely just there's live footage of I'm a sucker for live footage of spacewalks that NASA does sometimes. They'll broadcast it from the International Space Station and just watching astronauts walk outside there is
no interest.
Unbelievable to me. It's so amazing. Oh, it's so good.
My
And
dad
there's a
is
great.
big into it. My dad loves space. He'll watch any kind of space news. He has a big telescope. He looks up at the stars. He
I want a telescope
knows
so bad.
he has a big telescope.
Oh, I want one so bad.
Oh, you want a telescope?
Real
Oh.
bad. Yeah.
And he will keep up with whenever any weird shit is happening with the moon, if the blood moon or whatever. I will know about it because my dad will tell me about it. And I like it enough. Like I enjoy looking at this sort of stuff when my dad brings it up, and it's something that I can talk to my dad with. But I don't do the research. I just enjoy it when he tells me it.
Right, Radiant user, right? That's amazing.
The pillars of creation.
Do you not know the pillars of creation? We're gonna look at a picture of the pillars of creation right now.
What are the pillars of creation?
You're about to see. Unbelievable.
I don't even know how to fill this silence because I just don't know what it is.
Start guessing.
Is it a space thing or is it on the planet?
Space thing.
Oh, I've seen that image before. I just didn't know that's what it was.
Oh,
Well, what is it?
fuck. Who knows, man? I don't understand it at all. I'm like, for
Are they
someone
just
who
big
loves it so
lumps
much,
of dust
I
in
do not
space?
do enough research. I just know how beautiful and awe-inspiring it is, and I'm happy with that for now.
But
Space farts. Brent Fu says space farts. What are the odds?
is it
We're
just clouds of dust in space that
we're
look like
we're also
big
getting
pillars?
space dicks. I don't think that
They
one's
look
right.
like space dildos.
Thank you, Boomstickery. It's a nebula.
There is definitely dildos made in that shape.
These are gas nebula, so they will become stars or planets.
Ooh, that's kind of cool.
Space is
At the moment,
amazing.
they're just dildos.
It's so thrilling. I fucking love space, man.
I don't like space that much.
It's the
It
sheer
freaks me out too
possibility.
much. I can't dwell on any thought about space because it just freaks me out.
I was when they were looking for people to go to Mars without wanting to come back. I was like, if I was single, I would seriously consider doing that.
That's horrific.
I would seriously consider doing that. That's like, because I even like as a kid, I was always like, the people that just sailed for the New World but didn't really know where it was. I get that. That's I'd be all over that.
No. Well, see, okay. That is my biggest fear.
Really?
So I'm completely agoraphobic.
Oh, okay. I am the opposite of that.
As in, like, that's one of the big things that I've had to overcome. Like, going out of my house terrifies me.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. Then the moon probably isn't for you.
Yeah, like
although
I've
very few crowds, real low numbers on the moon.
I have learned how to go out of my house, but I cannot close the door behind me if I don't have my keys in my hand.
Oh wow. Thank you very much for following. I am Le Suede. Oh, I like that name very much.
That's a fun name.
It's a fun name.
I can't. I had a panic attack watching the movie Life of Pi.
Oh yeah, I didn't watch the movie. I read the book though, and that's why I didn't watch the movie.
I couldn't watch it. I was watching it with my family, and I was starting to really panic. And my family didn't understand why, but I was just like, I can't watch this movie anymore. We need to turn it off. We need to watch something else. I can't watch this movie because it was just him out at sea.
Yeah, with a tiger and a fox and a chicken and a bag of grain, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
but
I think that was it.
Honestly, it didn't. The tiger didn't bother me. None of it bothered me. It was that he was just stranded at sea. I couldn't deal with it.
Terrifying, absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
But if it was space, I'd have to go. I'd have to go. I wouldn't be able to not.
That is my worst nightmare.
Good morning. How do you feel about going to space? I am LaSuede. Just being marooned out there.
Ooh, Australia. We're hitting a new target demo.
Yeah. I fucking love it, man. The idea of being one of the first people on Mars that would be remarkable. I can't think of anything better. That would be the best.
You need to read The Martian. genuinely, I'm good at book things.
Yeah.
We've done this.
Can someone clip that? Just her saying I'm good at book things. I'd like that very much.
But we had this chat before. Books are like the thing that I can pick out for people, and I think you need to read The Martian.
I will. I'll pick it up. There's a great secondhand bookstore in the in the town. I'll go there after the stream.
Do it.
Yeah. Now I just want to fucking watch videos about space. I love it so much. It's fucking great.
You're such a little dork.
Yeah. So yeah.
The only space thing I've ever really, really loved was that Looney Tunes movie, The Martian.
Marvin the Martian?
No, not Marvin the Martian. Just
he was
The Martian.
Just
maybe
the Martian?
he is Marvin the Martian.
It's Marvin the Martian. Yeah, with the gun and the big silly helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Marvin.
Dodgers goes to space. That's
gotcha.
the one.
Okay.
That movie. Thank you,
Nuka Boy.
Such a lovely place in my heart. That film.
I'll have to rewatch that. I don't remember that at all. I remember
barely
Marvin
remember it, but I always think of
the
it.
voice. The
So that's
voice.
the
When I was a
only
kid,
place
I could
that freak me out.
when I was a kid, I could nail that voice. When my voice dropped, I couldn't do it anymore. But when I was little, my Marvin the Martian was impeccable. And unfortunately, my Apu from The Simpsons was also impeccable. But there's not a lot of call for that one anymore. So I don't.
The only impression I was ever able to do, and I can't do it anymore, but for a very small time period when I was a kid, I was able to do a bang on Stitch from Lilo and Stitch.
No shit.
Yeah.
Nice.
I fully cannot do it anymore, but I could fully do it. That was it's the only kind of impression thing I've ever even attempted to do. His little Ohana speech, exactly. That movie is so beautiful.
Yeah, it's really, really. I watched it for the first time in lockdown. I'd never seen it before, and it's great. So fun.
So beautiful. Even just the imagery of it, like it's all this watercolor background, is so.
Oh, is that how they did it?
Yeah, it's just water.
Oh,
like
okay.
if you actually look at it, the characters are moving, but the background doesn't because it's all watercolor.
Oh, cool.
And it's just so beautiful. Actually, I watched. I was designing a lesson today for my course, doing up kind of lesson plans and stuff, and I'm teaching theme, and I used the Disney Pixar short film Piper. Have you ever seen that one with the little bird and it's learning how to go into the ocean and catch the little shellfish to eat?
No.
Oh, it's so cute. I highly recommend watching it.
I've never even heard of that.
So cute.
I like
the
birds.
Disney Pixar short film Piper.
The only one of those that I've seen is Bow. I haven't watched any of the other ones, so I gotta watch that. Bow, yeah, like the Chinese bun.
No, I don't know if I have seen that one actually.
It's a very nice short about family. It's just very sweet.
Oh,
yeah,
all the Pixar shorts are so good. I love Pixar movies so much.
Yeah, they're incredible.
They're amazing. I didn't enjoy Soul and I didn't enjoy Inside Out, but the rest of them I did really enjoy.
That is insane to me, but that's okay. I don't want to fight about it. I think Inside Out in particular, I think is remarkable. But I thought Soul was very good.
I found that film really stressful. And I just know that if I had seen that as a kid, it actually would have freaked me out.
Oh, it would have calmed me down. I would have been like, oh, there's place for all your feelings? Amazing. Because I've only been watching cowboy movies. I thought I got one.
Yeah.
So.
I do get that, but I think I was such a fucking anxious little child though.
Yeah.
Did you watch?
Okay. Thank you, Patty. Absolute Bow is fantastic. Everyone should watch it. Have you watched A Good Dinosaur? Because I keep meaning to, and I
haven't watched that one yet.
I am so sure it's going to make me cry that I just keep avoiding it.
Yeah.
It looks like it's definitely beautiful, and there's a heartbreaking moment where the dinosaur either dies or is standing in the rain like that. Remember the old friend in Inside Out where it takes the wagon off that bit? It's going to be something like that, and I'm just going to be like, nope, I don't need that. I don't need that.
I haven't seen The Good Dinosaur. I think it's the only one I haven't seen. Pretty sure I've seen most of the rest of them.
Yeah, me too.
Coco is one of my favorites. I love
Coco's a delight.
I love Ratatouille.
Yeah.
It
There
just
honestly
has
isn't
a
a bad
little
even
special place in my heart.
I didn't think I was gonna like Brave for some reason. Like the way that they advertised it, I was like, okay, fair enough. You know, I can't like all of them. And I wasn't to say it was gonna be bad, but I was like, fine. And I watched it, I was like, dope. This is fucking sick.
It's
This is
so
such a good
good.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Luca is good.
Luca's the
It's
first
not
one I didn't
as
love.
good. Yeah.
Luca, I got bored
it's-
and turned it off.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I still liked it more than that. I actually did really like it. I think I loved that it had this lovely little friendship between the two boys, and I might be reading too much into it, but it hinted, I felt it hinted at a very early days LGBTQ representation.
I don't know.
You know, they're children, so they're not going to sexualize them, but something about it hinted at it for me.
That sucks. That sucks. Podcast listener Go to Razzler says, I have a toddler. I've seen Luca 3 times in one day.
My 6-year-old niece ruined every plot point in Brave for me as we were watching, and it was fucking hilarious. How did she ruin it?
Oh, and this is where this happens. And this is where this happens.
Oh, right.
And,
yeah. I understand what you mean. I thought you meant like, you know, when somebody points out a plot hole, I thought that's what you meant. Like,
oh, yeah.
Okay.
Just that would be so funny if she's just this really savvy 6-year-old.
She's just like, no, that doesn't make any sense.
Structurally, this movie is all over the place. I can't. Absolute mess.
Yeah.
What is this, Ocean's 13? No, thank you.
Oh, the one where Chris Pratt and Tom Holland are brother. Oh, that one. What's it called?
Holy shit.
I only watched that one through lockdown, and it's fucking devastating.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
that was a lot.
really tough.
It made me miss my brother so much.
Oh, it's
I was
so
like, oh, God damn it, I love my brother.
tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it called again?
I can't remember. Hey, Macaroni Prince, what's going on, bud? I don't do dead dad films at the moment. Totally fair, Steve. I'm only hit and miss on those because, like, since my mom died, I definitely go through waves of like, I can totally deal with this, and times of like, I cannot deal with this. And it's yeah. What is this?
Somebody's put a picture of you on the moon in the Discord.
What?
Onward, thank you.
Onward. That's it. Thank you
Onward.
very much.
I loved all, like, as devastating as it is, I did really enjoy the kind of folklore fairy tale aspect of that movie.
Nuka Boy, thank you very much. Yeah, absolutely.
I liked how they kind of created this world where folklore and fairy tale existed but had moved into like this really modern world. I thought it was quite cool how they did that.
Take care, Patty. Be well, bud.
I might need to go to a bathroom quite soon.
You mean a washroom? You mean a water closet?
Well,
we're
I mean the thing I warned you about at the beginning of the show.
Oh damn! Ashley's about to poop herself.
Yeah, there's a burning sensation in my lower abdomen. That is a bit impending doom.
Do it.
Don't do that. That's not nice.
Oh man,
not curry again. I don't really know this time. Just an upset tummy.
If you shit yourself on stream and John's not here, he'll be so upset.
He'll be so upset. So I'm
be
gonna
so upset
hold
that
it
he
in
missed
for
it.
John.
Okay, well, should we raid someone so that you can go poop in peace?
I think we should do that as quickly as is feasible.
Okay, we're gonna raid. We're gonna raid Colt Cabana because Ashley thinks he's hot, and that's very funny.
I do think he's hot, and now you've set up a situation where I'm going to be shitting myself and listening to him.
Yeah, I think that
So-
is wonderful. Cole Cabana is hot. You're absolutely right. Thank you so much,
hot.
everybody, for coming through. This was great. We're going to take the weekend off now, as we always do. We'll be back Sunday night or afternoon, depending
John
on where
still
you
won't
are.
be here.
John will still be
but-
at La Lune, but he'll be back on Monday. You are all very wonderful. Have a great weekend. We're going to head out. Ashley, any parting words?
I really have to go to the toilet.
Bye.
Penis into her vagina. And that's all. That's all. And that's called sexual intercourse. Some people call it having sex. So the man passes the sperm to the woman, and now his sperm is in her.